Okay, so get this. Today's deep dive is into something called relationship literacy.
Relationship literacy.
Yeah, you sent over a stack of sources about it, including this white paper
Right?
that proposes a social operating system for how we relate to each other.
Wow.
Like, I'm blown away. I never thought about it this way.
It is a fascinating concept. You know, we're so used to thinking about operating systems for computers.
Right.
But what if we apply that same logic to human interaction?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, is there a manual for being human that we all missed?
Right.
And this white paper is arguing that, like, we're seeing the consequences of that missing manual everywhere.
Yeah, think about it.
Yeah.
How many times have you been in a meeting where everyone's talking, but no one's really listening? Or you're trying to collaborate on a project, but it feels like you're constantly butting heads.
Oh, tell me about it. And then there's the whole online world,
Right.
which feels like a breeding ground for misunderstanding. You know, you think you're being clear in an email,
Yeah.
but the other person takes it completely the wrong way.
That's a perfect example of where relationship literacy,
Okay.
or RLP is the paper called,
The RLP.
comes in.
Okay.
It's about recognizing that communication isn't just about the words we use.
Right.
It's about understanding the context, the emotions, the unspoken dynamics at play.
And so this white paper is arguing that this lack of RLP is contributing to some pretty major problems, like that toxic workplace example you mentioned.
Exactly. But it goes even deeper than that.
Okay.
The authors make a really interesting point about how this impacts the development of AI.
Oh, yeah. The whole ethical dilemma thing.
Yeah.
That really caught my eye.
It's a bit of a Pandora's box, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're creating these incredibly powerful AI systems, but if we don't teach them to understand human relationships, they could end up perpetuating our worst biases.
So it's not just about being a nice person. It's about literally shaping the future of technology. Whoa. That's a lot of pressure.
It is, but it also highlights just how crucial relationship literacy is.
Okay.
The paper uses this comparison to LinkedIn,
Okay.
how they've built their platform around professional courtesy,
Right.
while other platforms are still struggling with things like online harassment and hate speech.
And so their argument is if we can build a platform like LinkedIn that promotes positive interaction,
Yes.
we can apply those same principles to AI development.
Exactly. It's about embedding those values of empathy, respect, and understanding into the very fabric of the technology we create.
Okay. I'm starting to see how this all connects, but I think a lot of people listening might be thinking,
Yeah.
so how does this actually affect me?
That's a great question, and it's one the paper addresses head on.
Okay.
They argue that the consequences of low RLP are all around us.
Okay.
We see it in the rising rates of anxiety and depression, in the political polarization that's tearing communities apart,
Wow.
even in the way we interact with our own families.
So it's not just about work or AI, it's about the very fabric of our society.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is
Yeah.
the paper argues that a lot of this stems from the digital disconnect we've been experiencing.
You mean how we're constantly online,
Yeah,
but feeling more isolated than ever?
precisely. The constant barrage of information,
Right.
the pressure to be on all the time, the echo chambers that reinforce our existing biases, it's all taking a toll on our ability to connect with each other in a meaningful way.
It's like we've forgotten how to have real conversations, how to disagree respectfully, how to just be with each other without judgment.
And that's where the concept of a social operating system comes in.
Okay.
The paper argues that we need a fundamental shift in how we approach human interaction,
Okay.
a set of principles that guides us towards healthier, more fulfilling relationships.
Okay, so we've established there's a problem.
Right.
But where do we go from here?
Yeah.
Is there actually a solution?
Well,
A social operating system. Sounds pretty ambitious.
it is ambitious,
Yeah.
but the paper doesn't just present a problem,
Okay.
it offers solutions.
Okay, great.
And what's really exciting is that these solutions aren't just theoretical.
Okay.
They're being implemented right now in workplaces, schools, even online communities.
Now that's what I want to hear. Tell me more about these solutions. What are they doing that's actually working? All right, so we're talking solutions.
Yes.
What are these people doing that's actually making a difference?
Well,
Give me some hope here.
one of the most striking examples is this case study about a tech company.
Okay.
Not unlike the words we were just discussing, they were struggling with classic growing pains.
Yeah,
Communication breakdowns, silos forming between teams, that kind of thing.
right. Classic.
And their leadership realized that it was stemming from a lack of, you guessed it, relationship literacy.
So what did they do?
Wow.
Did they bring in like some RLP guru to give everyone a pep talk?
It was actually much more in-depth than that.
Oh.
They completely overhauled their onboarding process for new employees.
Okay.
Instead of just focusing on technical skills,
Yeah.
they started incorporating RLT training from day one.
Interesting. So new hires are learning how to communicate effectively,
Yes.
how to work in teams,
Yes.
how to navigate like those inevitable workplace conflicts, all before they even start their actual job.
Exactly. And it's not just a one-time training session.
Okay.
They've woven these RLP principles into the very fabric of their company culture. They have regular workshops, they encourage open communication and feedback,
Wow.
and they even have designated conflict resolution facilitators within each team.
So it's like RLP is baked into their DNA. I'm curious,
Yeah.
did they see any like tangible results from this approach?
The results were pretty remarkable.
Okay.
Employee satisfaction went up, productivity increased, and perhaps most importantly, they saw a significant decrease in employee turnover. People were happier, they felt more valued, and they were more likely to stay with the company long term.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
If you feel like you're working in a supportive and collaborative environment, you're obviously going to be more invested in your work.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's one example.
Yes.
What about outside of like the corporate world?
Sure.
Are there any case studies that show how RLP is being implemented in other areas of life?
Absolutely. There's this fascinating example from a school district that was struggling with bullying and social isolation among students.
Okay.
They decided to integrate RLP into their curriculum starting in elementary school.
So we're talking about like teaching kids about empathy, communication, and conflict resolution.
Yeah.
Basically giving them the tools to build healthy relationships from a young age.
Exactly. And it wasn't just about lectures and textbooks.
Yeah.
They incorporated interactive activities, role-playing, and even peer mediation programs.
Interesting.
They created a whole culture of respect and understanding within the school environment.
I bet the parents were thrilled.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, who doesn't want their kids to learn these skills?
Right.
It's something that benefits them throughout their entire lives, not just in the classroom.
You're absolutely right. And the results speak for themselves.
What were they?
Bullying incidents decreased dramatically. Students reported feeling more connected to their peers and teachers,
Okay.
and their academic performance actually improved.
Wait, what? How did learning about relationships improve their grades?
Well, think about it. If you're constantly worried about social drama or feeling isolated, it's hard to focus on your studies.
Right.
But when you feel safe, supported, and connected, you're more likely to thrive in all areas of your life, including academics.
That's amazing. It shows how these seemingly soft skills
Yeah.
can actually have a huge impact on our overall well-being and success.
I agree.
Okay, so we've got businesses and schools seeing the benefits of RLP. Any other examples that come to mind?
There's one more I think you'll find particularly interesting. It involves a community that was deeply divided over a controversial local issue.
Ooh, sounds tense.
It was one of those situations where people were entrenched in their positions, refusing to listen to each other,
Yeah.
and the whole town felt like it was on the verge of imploding.
So, did someone swoop in with an RLP magic wand and fix everything?
Not quite a magic wand,
Okay.
but something pretty close.
Right.
A group of local residents, realizing that something had to change, decided to organize a series of community dialogues.
Okay.
They brought in trained facilitators who helped people learn how to communicate their perspectives respectfully, how to listen to each other without judgment, and how to find common ground despite their differences.
So instead of shouting at each other from across the divide, they actually sat down and had real conversations.
Exactly.
Would anyone change their minds?
It wasn't about changing minds. It was about understanding each other.
Okay.
And what happened was truly remarkable.
What?
People started to see each other as human beings again, not just representatives of opposing viewpoints.
Right.
They discovered shared values, they acknowledged each other's concerns, and they even started working together on solutions that benefited the entire community.
Okay. I'm officially convinced.
Yep.
RLP isn't just some feel-good theory.
Right.
It's a practical tool for building stronger relationships, resolving conflicts, and creating more harmonious communities.
Yes.
But I have to ask, how do we scale this up?
Right.
How do we make this the norm, not the exception?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Feels like it.
The paper argues that it's not just about individual efforts.
Uh-huh.
It requires a systemic change.
Okay.
We need to integrate RLP into our education systems,
Oh.
our workplaces, our government institutions,
Wow.
even our social media platforms.
So it's about creating a culture where relationship literacy is valued and prioritized.
Yes.
Where it's seen as essential for individual and collective well-being.
Precisely. And that's where the concept of a social operating system comes full circle. It's about creating a framework that supports healthy relationships at all levels of society.
I love this idea.
Good.
But I have to admit, it feels a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
Where do we even begin?
That's where the paper gets really interesting. They don't just talk about the problem and the need for a solution. They actually outline 4 key pillars for what this social operating system might look like.
4 pillars.
Yes.
Okay, I'm all ears. What are they?
The first pillar is self-awareness,
Okay.
the foundation of all healthy relationships.
Makes sense.
The paper defines it as the ability to understand your own emotions, your communication style, and how your actions impact others.
So it's about knowing yourself, but also about recognizing how you show up in the world
Yes,
and how that affects those around you.
exactly. And the second pillar builds on that foundation.
Okay.
It's communication.
Right. Communicate.
Not just the act of speaking or writing,
Right.
but the art of truly connecting with another human being.
This sounds a lot deeper than just sending emails and attending meetings.
It is. The paper emphasizes the importance of active listening empathy and the ability to articulate your needs and boundaries in a way that fosters understanding.
I can already see how these 2 pillars work together.
Yes.
You can't communicate effectively if you're not self-aware, right?
Absolutely. And that brings us to the third pillar, conflict resolution.
Okay.
The paper acknowledges that conflict is inevitable in any relationship,
Right.
but it doesn't have to be destructive.
So it's about having the tools to navigate those disagreements in a way that strengthens the relationship, not weakens it.
Exactly. The paper outlines some key strategies,
Like what?
like separating the person from the problem,
Okay.
finding common ground, and focusing on solutions that benefit everyone involved.
These all sound incredibly valuable, but I'm curious about the 4th pillar.
Yeah.
What is it?
Well, the 4th pillar is all about ethical decision-making.
Ethical decision-making.
It's like the culmination of all the other skills we've been discussing.
So it's not just about being nice.
No.
It's about making choices that are good for ourselves, good for our relationships, and good for the wider community.
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
about recognizing that our actions have ripple effects.
Okay.
They impact not just ourselves, but everyone around us.
So it's like that saying, be the change you want to see in the world,
Yes,
but more like, make the choices that create the world you want to live in.
I love that. That's a great way to put it.
Yeah?
And the paper goes even further.
Okay.
They argue that ethical decision-making is essential for the future of technology, especially with the rise of AI.
Right. We were talking earlier about how AI can reflect our biases and potentially amplify them if we're not careful.
Exactly. And the paper suggests that if we teach AI to understand ethical decision-making, if we embed those principles of empathy and responsibility into its very core,
Yeah.
then we have the potential to create technology that actually makes the world a better place.
I'm with you. I'm seeing the bigger picture here.
Good.
But how do we actually put all of this into practice?
Right.
It sounds amazing in theory,
Yeah.
but is it really possible to teach people to be more relationship literate?
It's definitely a challenge,
Yeah.
but the paper is full of hope.
Okay.
It highlights real-world examples of how people are already implementing these principles and seeing incredible results.
Oh, yeah. What were some of those case studies again? Remind me.
One that really stands out is this program they're running in a prison.
A prison.
Yeah, it's based on the idea that even people who have made serious mistakes can learn to become more relationship literate.
That's a bold approach.
It is.
What does the program actually involve?
It's a combination of things.
Okay.
They have workshops on communication skills,
Yeah.
conflict resolution, and emotional intelligence. They also have group therapy sessions where inmates can practice these skills in a safe and supportive environment.
I imagine that must be like a really powerful experience for them.
Yes.
To be able to open up and share their struggles and learn from each other.
It is. And the results have been remarkable.
Really?
They've seen a significant decrease in violence within the prison.
Wow.
And inmates who have gone through the program are much less likely to reoffend when they're released.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's proof that, like, even in the most challenging circumstances, relationship literacy can make a real difference.
And it's not just prisons. We're seeing similar programs being implemented in schools, businesses, even government agencies.
So it's like a ripple effect spreading outwards from these individual initiatives, creating a more relationship-literate society one step at a time.
Exactly. And the more we talk about it, the more we prioritize it, the faster that ripple effect will spread.
This has been such a fascinating deep dive. It's like we've uncovered this hidden superpower that we all have, the ability to connect with each other in a deeper, more meaningful way.
And what's really empowering is that it's a skill we can learn and develop with practice.
So it's not about being perfect.
No.
It's about being willing to show up, be present, and engage with the world in a more conscious and compassionate way.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we're all interconnected and that our relationships are the foundation of a healthy and thriving society.
Well, I am walking away from this deep dive feeling so hopeful and inspired.
Good. I'm glad.
Thanks for sharing all your insights.
It's been my pleasure. This is a topic I'm truly passionate about.
I can tell.
And I believe that the more we understand about relationship literacy,
the
brighter our future will be.